Previously on DC vs Vampires, Andrew Bennett, also known as I-Vampire, heads towards the Hall of Justice to alert the League of the upcoming vampire invasion. But as he makes his way to his destination, he gets hit by a car and becomes exposed in the open sunlight. In that time, Hal Jordan saves him and brings him to the Hall of Justice. There Andrew tells them Mary, the leader of the vampire race, was murdered. Now the vampires are ready to declare war against the human race. But then Hal Jordan reveals his true nature as a vampire and kills both Andrew and Zan. Later he also kills his best friend Barry Allen, because if Barry gets converted into a vampire, his high metabolism rate will cause a major problem to them. That's why he kills him. The whole team shows up in Barry's murder location to investigate the crime scene. There Batman gets some clues about the murder and he keeps those to himself. Meanwhile in Gotham City, Penguin is being chased by two vampires, but there Penguin gets confronted by Zatanna. And without wasting any seconds, the vampire Zatanna kills him by sucking the life force out of him. Later in the Seacoast side area, Hal catches up with Wonderwoman. As they start to talk with each other about the death of their dearest friend, Hal reveals his true nature in front of her. He uses his hypnosis technique on her. As Diana loses her grip on Hal, he slowly enters his teeth inside of her neck and converts her into one of them. Later at the Hall of Justice, as the League become worried about this situation and they are trying to figure out what to do next, then the vampire Diana and Hal arrives and tells them they have found some evidence that Batman has killed Barry Allen. Welcome to Comicstube YouTube channel. In today's video, we'll review chapter 4 of DC vs Vampires. So if you are new here, a sub to this channel would be highly appreciated, and also turn on all the notifications to never miss any future uploads. Please like, comment and share. All the text and images are owned by its respected company. You can support them by purchasing it digitally or from any offline stores. The issue opens up with John Constantine, where he spends his lonely time in a bar talking with himself. As he wrestles internally with his feelings, from the back, vampire Zatanna shows up and asks him to go somewhere in private. But John knows what Zatanna is up to. As John heads towards the wine cellar shelf, vampire Zatanna quickly jumps on him from the back. But before she can reach to him, John quickly ties him up with his spell. But then he releases her from the spell to get the information about her current vampiric status. Meanwhile in Batcave, Bruce contacts Alfred and tells him that he wants more blood samples from hospitals and blood banks because he needs all of those to gather the evidence against the vampires. But then Bruce notices something off in that cave. As he realizes the upcoming danger, he quickly shuts down the power supply of that cave. As the whole place gone darker, an arrow quickly flies through the air and impales Batman's body, and the attacker is none other than Oliver Queen. As he approaches towards his target, he realizes it was actually a mannequin model, and from the dark, Bruce stealthily appears behind of Oliver Queen, carrying a wooden knife in his hand with the intent to kill him. Meanwhile in Gotham City, Batgirl is investigating the situation by entering into a hotel room where she finds some ancestral dust beneath the bed, and from behind, Nightwing follows her and enters into that room. Then Batgirl shows him the ancestral dust and tells him that when a vampire travels, they must sleep above dirt from their ancestral home. And this hotel room was booked by Mary Queen of Blood. She secretly came to Gotham to do something unknown, and that's what they have to find out. Back at the Batcave, the battle between Batman and Green Arrow rages on, and it becomes a sitcom situation where both think the other is vampire. As both fighters become exhausted during their fight, Batman quickly tackles him to the ground. As he tries to make his final move on Ollie, both of them come to know that they are not vampires. As Bruce asks him, how did he find out about the vampires? Ollie explains he captures one of the vampires and interrogates him. But he had some doubts on the vampire's words, so he started to track the suspects and all the abnormal activities in the street. And all of these evidences lead him to Gotham, so he suspects it was Batman who turned evil, as he lives like a bat in the cave. As both fighters tries to make fun of each other, Bruce informs him Hal killed Barry Allen and there must be someone who is much powerful than Hal. Back at the bar, John Constantine tries to flirt with the vampire Zatanna. But both of them notice a glowing light pops up in the air, and from there Dr. Fate shows up and he needs John's help to go up against the vampire kingdom. But right at that time, Zatanna charges at Dr. Fate, but before she can do any harm to him, John ties her up with his spell. Fate quickly takes this opportunity and kills her by burning her into dust. Back at the Gotham City, Red Hood and Cassandra confront a vampire gang to get some information about their true motives. But before they can understand anything, Vampire Gorilla Grodd shows up in front of them and starts to attack them with his brute force. He quickly grabs Red Hood by the neck and takes him to the edge of that building. As he starts to throw Red Hood out of the building, Cassandra quickly saves him by stabbing a rod into Grodd's back. The monster screams in pain and quickly escapes from there by turning into a bat. As Red Hood asks her if she finds anything useful here, Cassandra shows him a Joker card, which indicates that the Joker has already turned into a vampire. Meanwhile at the Batcave, both Bruce and Ollie tracking down every single villain to find out if they are turned into a vampire or not. But right at that time, an intruder alarm alerts them that someone has entered into the Batcave uninvited. As they quickly head towards the main entrance, Wonderwoman shows up in front of them and she starts to accuse Bruce for killing Barry. But Bruce quickly understands the true motive of her and he quickly throws two wooden knives at her direction. But before it can impulse her body, Hal quickly catches those in the midair. The situation becomes dire as both heroes goes head to head against another two fallen heroes. But right at that time, the entire Justice League arrives in front of them to stop their fight. But Bruce doesn't know if the entire team members have turned into a vampire or not. And as a result, he quickly instructs Oliver to go up against them and stop them once and for all. And with the fight between the Justice League members, the chapter 4 of DC vs Vampires comes to a close. Which part you like the most? Please comment down below. And also please subscribe, as this will motivate me to make more contents. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.